Precisely 6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. China reiterates its assistance is never attached with political strings. The Education Minister pointed out that university students must fulfill their responsibility to the society. Steps have been taken to upgrade the Suasari ambulance service with advanced facilities. Today is the 7th day of the committee stage debate on the second reading of the budget. Navy nabs 24 Indian fishermen poaching in Sri Lankan waters. More details of Mattakuliya murder victim revealed. Power cuts of over 2 hours scheduled for tomorrow. New Chief of Staff appointed to Sri Lanka Army. News overseas, Ukraine war, NATO pledges to provide more weapons and fix power grid. In sports news, World Cup 2022, England step up in Wales win and show frightening depth of Gareth Southgate's squad. Local news in detail. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian reiterates that his country's assistance is never attached with any political strings. Addressing a regular press conference on Monday, Lijian told reporters that China never seeks any selfish political gains in China's investment financing in Sri Lanka. China fully relates to the difficulties and challenges faced by Sri Lanka and supports relevant financial institutions in discussing with Sri Lanka and properly resolving them. We have all along provided support to Sri Lanka's socio-economic development as long as our ability permits. He also welcomed Sri Lanka Foreign Minister Ali Sabri's remarks about the close bilateral relations between the two countries. Speaking further, he remarked that this year marks the 65th anniversary of China-Sri Lanka diplomatic relations and the 70th anniversary of the Rubber Rice Pact. It is of great significance of building on past achievements and working for fresh progress. The Education Minister, Susil Premadayantha, said that the primary objective of university students should be to finish their education as soon as possible and fulfill their responsibility to society. Due to students overstaying in universities for more than 8 to 10 years without completing their studies, new students miss their opportunities to get university education. The minister requested the University Grants Commission and universities to take a joint decision regarding the number of opportunities given to university students to appear for free examinations. State Minister of Health Sita Arambepola said that the steps were being taken to upgrade the Suasari ambulance service with advanced facilities to prevent in-transit deaths. Suasari at present facilitates the transport of critical patients to hospitals with first aid. The minister said several countries have offered to provide sophisticated ambulances with advanced facilities to cater to these needs. The Sri Lankan Navy intercepted 5 Indian trawlers carrying 24 Indian fishermen poaching in Sri Lankan waters last evening. The arrest was made in waters of the Kovilan Lighthouse in Karainagar, Jaffna during a joint operation with the Sri Lanka Coast Guard. Accordingly, the group of Indian fishermen, together with the seized trawlers, were brought to the Kankesanture harbour and are due to be handed over to the Mailadi Fisheries Inspector for onward legal proceedings. A total of 35 Indian fishing trawlers and 252 poachers have been apprehended by the Sri Lankan Navy in similar operations throughout this year, all of whom have been handed over to the relevant authorities for onward legal action. Sri Lanka police confirmed that the individual who was hacked to death in Mattakuliya was in fact a suspect arrested in connection with the Easter Sunday attacks in 2019. Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Taldua revealed that the deceased was arrested in 2019 along with 4 other suspects in Jayala over the Easter Sunday attacks. They had 2 detonators, 2 sets of uniforms similar to those used in the army, 2 sticks of gelignite and nearly 2 kilos of ammonia in their possession at the time of the arrest, Taldua added. 3 of the 5 suspects were later released on the grounds that a successful case could not be built against them. Accordingly, one of the 3 suspects who were released, identified as a 38-year-old resident of Mattakulia, had been murdered in the area last morning. The victim was rushed to the Colombo National Hospital after 3 individuals who had arrived in a car at around 10 a.m. in the morning committed the murder. He was pronounced dead on admission to the Colombo National Hospital. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news. Continuing with more stories here at home. Major General Channa Veerasurya has been appointed as the Chief of Staff of the Sri Lanka Army, the Army Media Division reported. Major General Channa Veerasurya, who was born in 1968 in Colombo, has had his education at Mahanama College, Kollupitiya, where he excelled in sports and various scopes. He joined the army as an officer cadet in 1986 and was commissioned as a second lieutenant into one of the most respected infantry regiments in the Sri Lanka Army, the 1st Battalion of the Sri Lanka Light Infantry, in 1987. Major General Veerasurya has counted over 35 years of reckonable service in the military career. Besides the regimental appointments in every sphere, Major General Channa Veerasurya has held numerous important appointments in command and staff capacity. Major General Channa Veerasurya has served many command appointments, including Commander of 512, 523 and 663 Infantry Brigades, Commander of Air Mobile Brigade and Commander of 22nd Division in Trincomalee and Commander of Security Force East, according to the Army Media Division. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has approved power interruptions of 2 hours and 20 minutes for tomorrow. That's for today. Groups A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W, 1 hour during daytime, 1 hour and 20 minutes at night. That's local news for the moment.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siambalapiti has said that 153,375 kilograms of milk powder imported by a certain company from New Zealand violating import and export regulations have been detained at the Colombo port for more than 25 days. He said that the company had imported the stock of full cream milk powder in 6 containers under open account system. He said milk powder import was permitted under open account system for direct consumption and added that this company had imported the stock of raw material claiming to be imported as direct consumption. He said there is no possibility of milk powder shortage in the market due to this incident.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
A rapid increase of vehicle theft is being reported during the last few months to the police, with motorcycle thefts topping the list. The total number of vehicle thefts and robberies reported within the first 9 months of this year has already surpassed the total cases reported last year alone. Accordingly, a total of 1,405 vehicle thefts have been reported to the police in 2021. Police said 9 buses, 6 vans, 10 lorries, 34 cars, 353 three-wheelers, 975 motorcycles and 18 other vehicles were stolen last year.
If you are following NVQ or non-NVQ vocational training course, ensure that your name is registered with the Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission by the institution. Visit the website www.tvec.gov.lk and link to candidate search and enter in your national ID number in the trainee/certificate search. Please note that this is a legal requirement. This is a message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher. never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, Ukraine war, NATO pledges to provide more weapons and fix power grid. Outback Wrangler star Matt Wright charged over fatal helicopter crash. Oath Keepers, 2 members of far-right militia guilty of U.S. sedition. World news in detail. NATO has pledged to give more weapons to Ukraine and help fix critical energy infrastructure badly damaged by massive Russian missile and drone strikes. At a summit in Bucharest, the Secretary General of the military alliance, Jens Stoltenberg, accused Moscow of trying to use winter as a weapon of war. The Russian strikes have left millions of Ukrainians without electricity and running water in freezing temperatures. A famous Australian crocodile wrangler has been charged over a helicopter crash that killed his friend and reality television co-star. Known as the Outback Wrangler, Matt Wright is accused of perverting the course of justice, destroying and fabricating evidence, interfering with witnesses, and unlawful entry. He is the third person charged over the crash which killed Crispolo Wilson in February. Mr. Wright denies any wrongdoing. Finally, on world news, the leader of the far-right militia has been found guilty of plotting to stop U.S. President Joe Biden from taking office after the 2020 election. A jury found Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes guilty of the rare charge of seditious conspiracy following a 2-month trial. He plotted an armed rebellion to stop the transfer of power from Donald Trump to Mr. Biden, prosecutors said. And that's on world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development news. Sri Lanka will earn around $1.2 billion from tea exports for 2023, exporting around 260 million kilograms recently. SLTV is forecasting a modest growth of for 2023 in comparison to the current year, estimating an increased production of 290 million kilograms, with export revenues expected to increase to $1.4 billion. Due to the depreciation of the rupee against the dollar during the first half of the year and a shortage of tea, sales caught up and auction prices increased sharply from March 2022. Despite fuel shortages and logistic issues, the regional plantation companies and smallholders have been able to continue the harvesting of green leaf throughout the year. When compared to 2020 and 2021 volumes, the green leaf price to smallholders has increased exponentially from July 2022 onwards. And that's on development news. Moving on to sports news. Cricket. All-rounder Liam Livingstone will make his test debut in England's first test against Pakistan in Rawalpindi on Thursday. The 29-year-old has beaten off competition from Surrey's Will Jacks and will bat at number 8 as well as giving a spin bowling option. Ben Duckett will open the batting, playing his first test since 2016 in place of the dropped Alex Lees. The 3-test series is England's first in Pakistan for 17 years. And moving on to soccer, following England's goalless draw with the United States, manager Gareth Southgate made 4 changes for the crucial game against Wales. Prime among these changes were introducing Marcus Rashford and Phil Foden to the front 3 either side of Harry Kane. It proved an inspired decision, with the pair scoring England's 3 goals to send their team into the round of 16 as Group B winners. That's on Sports News.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest. An interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
People's Bank announced the results of its 9-month period ended September 30th, 2022, recording a pre-tax profit of 17 billion rupees on a bank solo and 21 billion rupees consolidated basis. Impairment charges rose significantly, reflecting challenged macro-level circumstances and the elevated level of risk across its key customer segments. Post-tax profit was 12.7 billion rupees, dipping by 15.6% over the same period of 2021.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Economic News, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, Colombo Bourse continued its positive trend for the third consecutive day whilst recording healthy turnover. Thus, our share price index increased by 65.3 points to close at 8,375.2 for the day, whilst S&P SL20 index also increased by 27.6 points to close at 2,640.3.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on the weather update, the Met Department says several spells of light showers will occur in the northern province. Showers of thunder showers will occur at several places in Uva and southern provinces. Showers of thunder showers may occur at a few places in central, Sabaragamuwa and eastern provinces during the afternoon and night. Misty conditions can be expected in Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts during the morning. This weather report was published this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature will be around 28 Celsius and there will be light showers in many places in Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 26 Celsius and there will be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 27 Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index is 33, which shows a bit of poor air condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. That's the weather update. And before we wind up this bulletin of news, back to the headlines. China reiterates its assistance is never attached with political strings. The education minister pointed out that university students must fulfill their responsibility to society. Steps have been taken to upgrade the Suasari ambulance service with advanced facilities. Today is the 7th day of the committee stage debate and the second reading of the budget. Navy nabs 24 Indian fishermen poaching in Sri Lankan waters. More details of Matakulia murder victim revealed. Power cuts of over 2 hours scheduled. New Chief of Staff appointed to Sri Lanka Army. News overseas, Ukraine war, NATO pledges to provide more weapons and fix power grid. And in sports, World Cup 2022, England step up in Wales win and show frightening depth of Gareth Southgate's squad. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.